Okay guys, so let's take a look at this. What is the Monstrum Tactical throwdown or lockdown mount? Well, it's a couple things. I'm sure you could use it for other things, but it'd be kind of stupid. So it is an adjustable height optics mount, and the design is actually pretty clever. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this, why you might want it, why you might not, what features it has, and what my recommendation is. So first of all, you can see that the rail here has the center section that's kind of scalloped out there. Obviously for weight savings, it looks kind of cool, but obviously if you guys have an optics mount, generally you're going to have like a cross bolt type thing. It's going to be very, very important though if you have some sort of weird mounting system for that optic so that it's actually able to go on there. So obviously if you have something that's just not a cross bolt and goes front to back, they have a little bit of ridges and kind of hear them, but that's really all you get. So realistically, I think I would have liked to see them just make it all solid, just because, you know, I'm mounting an optic and I want that to be as squared up and rock solid as I can, and I'd like to have some solid pick rail all the way across. I do understand their decision. I do understand why they actually gave it a little bit of height there in the middle to still kind of block things off, but that's just me. So how does this thing work? Well, there are little teeth on these ends here, and those dig into each other and allow you to sort of lock that to a certain point. So what we do is go ahead and loosen these bolts and drop the Allen wrench, of course. It wouldn't be one of our videos if we didn't do something stupid. Alright, so back those out. Then you can see the mount is completely collapsed and is solid there. And so again, there are those little teeth. There you go. That lock it into whatever position that you like. So right now I have it set to the highest height that it goes. And we'll get back to that in just a moment. So what is this used for? Well, that's a really good question. And of course it is in tactical black. This is not the nice tan and off colors that you see here. I did that. So what is it for? Well, obviously for mounting your optics, but if you have optics that are sort of a variable height, perhaps if you're a new shooter and you don't know what you want to get and you get something and it doesn't sit just right, this may be a good mounting option there for you. What it is not, guys, if you're sitting there and you have an EOTech, an ACOG, you know, anything Frigicon, Night Force, you're not going to be interested in something like this. Because if you have an optic that costs that much, a $20 mount is probably not on your shopping list. So that's kind of who it's not for. You know, if you have a very, very good optic that you spend a lot of money on, that's not to say that it may not fit the bill, but you're generally buying mounts that are maybe like a third of the cost of the optic itself. So could be a little bit more expensive and probably a little bit better quality than something like this. Speaking of the quality, it feels pretty good. It's got that kind of normal, just kind of like Chicom, you know, metal feel to it. The lever locks up really nice. I am worried a little bit about pulling this out or breaking it at some point by tightening it on there onto a rail. But we'll see. So you just pop this part off here, and it allows the optic to do a QD, so you can quick detach that from the rifle. We'll kind of talk about why that's important here in a little bit. So right now I have it set up to be at the highest height. And the reason why I'm doing that is the rail that it's mounted on, the gun, is, it's the way that it's set up, this does not clear the optic from the iron sights. So what I have on there is this little add-a-ball. This is an old school one. This is one of the first ones that they came out with. Jimmy was kind enough to send that to us for a review. Go check those guys out. They are awesome. And yeah, so the way that it sits on the rail does not allow for it to actually co-witness with the optic. Now, I don't know if that would be okay with another microdot, like a round, your traditional, like you see like the primary arms and stuff with that, because what blocks it here when it's on the lowest setting is the back of the base. So I'm thinking that if you had a just your regular micro dot, Bushnell TR25, whatever the heck it is, those kind of things, that it may work better because there's not this giant ass and bottom battery part. So one of these days I probably will test it with that. Right now I'm good with what I have. So I have it in the highest position, and we'll see when we get to the rifle why that is. Because if it's going to block the iron sights, then I really don't care at what height that it is. The gun that I'm using it on is kind of set up to be a review gun and a trainer. So it was originally made as an irons trainer, and obviously it's getting an optic here. So I'm really not sort of beholden to a specific setup. So if I want to do like a lower 1/3, if I want to do higher mount, and a lot of guys are kind of moving to something like that where it's just higher up and it's easier to get onto when you cheat the gun. That may be something to consider as well as why I'm doing this. So yeah. So what do I think about it? Well, I'll show you on the gun here, but I think it's pretty decent. I wish that it was the right height, even collapsed with this micro dot, that that it wouldn't interfere with the co-witnessing. I was really hoping it would do that, but again, I really think that that's more of the optic choice that I have than the rail itself. Again, at some point I probably will put something like that on there. I just don't care to pull something off and have to go razor or something like that. So anyways, so again, this is the tactical black color, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead, I'll mount this up with the optic here, and then we'll mount it up to the gun. Wada-ta! There we are. So this has been mounted back up with the Adaball in the way that I would typically mount that on the mount there. I have it riding just a little bit forwards because I don't care. So anyways, nice QD function there with that throw lever. So we have a nice little compact optics package that can be taken off if needed. So let's go ahead and mount it on the gun and kind of see what that looks like. Okay, so voila. There it is, mounted up on the gun there. And yeah, I like the way that it looks. It's definitely got a specific look to it. It's not as skeletonized as some of the other RMR mounts and micro dot mounts and things like that a lot of people use. So it is definitely more of a budget item, obviously, compared to some of the other ones out there. But again, at $20, right around there, shipped, I wasn't complaining too much. So let's take a look here what we got. So with the front and rear sights, you can kind of see with that rear sight there that this is not going to clear that. And again, this is at its highest state as far as being up there. So again, I'm not intending for this to co-witness with the sights, whether or not it is up or whether it is down, because it just won't. And that's kind of the downside right now that I have with it, with the optic that I'm using it for. Again, I didn't do a whole lot of research on it. I kind of bought it on a whim there, and it does work, and it does the work that I need it to do. Again, if they make a new one, if they make like a version 2, I'd love to see it start lower to take care of these kind of dots, where the battery and the base is, obviously everything is underneath the dot. So that's pretty much it there, guys. Obviously I'm not going to go ahead and paint the dot, but that is it there. So I do like it because when I'm coming up on the gun, it is a lot easier to just get right on that dot because it is much higher than the sights. So I don't have to get so far down on the gun when I'm cheeking the gun. So a lot of testing that needs to be done in this, a lot of live fire work, a lot of dry fire work, things like that. 2020 right now, we are having a crazy ammo shortage, so there's always that to consider. But definitely something that I want to try out. This may be one of my truck guns at some point to just kind of keep around there and in case it's needed. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much all I've got for you there. I do like the way that this works. If you guys are looking for something that's kind of an adjustable mount, I would definitely recommend this. if it's fits the applications that you're doing it for. You know, if you have an EO tech and you're putting a magnifier, probably not. For something like this though, nice microdot, sure, it works great. I guess lastly, who would use this? I mean, obviously me, because I've got it on my gun, but especially again, newer shooters that want the ability to have the ability to adjust things to their preference. You know, the first time you get a gun and you get down on it, you start working on it, not everything feels right 100% of the time, especially if you're a newer shooter, you don't have it. So having something like this where they can adjust the sights to their eyes or where they're comfortable running that gun is nice, because once you can go ahead and shoot red dot, you're pretty good with that gun in terms of being able to hit what you need to hit, obviously if you train. So starting with the irons, I know people go back and forth, but it might be less of an issue. So having just a nice red dot with no irons and just being able to use it, especially on a gun that's not going to be, you know, holding down the fort, that may be a good thing, guys. Obviously, if you're using a very, very expensive optic, probably not for you guys. But again, I think Monstrum knows that when they put this stuff out there. You got some higher end stuff, some lower end stuff, some mid grade, and this is definitely a high value item. I would definitely check it out if you get a chance. Questions, comments, leave those below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, share. Guys, help us fight the algorithm here on YouTube so we can get some people with some more good gun knowledge and learning. Guys, I'm getting too silly here. You guys have a great night. Thanks for sticking with us. I'll talk to you soon.